Hello, and welcome back to the Koi Pond Studio podcast. I'm your host, Peter, co-founder of Koi Pond Studio. With me, as always, is my co-host and co-founder, my beautiful and talented wife, Casey.
Hello!
Today we are going to be talking all about finishing. You'll notice there are some new things behind us. So Casey's going to talk you through what she did with those. So before we do that, should we reiterate again what the difference is between lowercase and uppercase finished?
Yes, so in the needlepoint world, some of the key lingo is lowercase finished, which is when you've finished stitching your project, right? So all of your canvas has been stitched, and then the capital F finished is once you've finished actually turning it into its final form, whether that's framed or as an ornament, pillow, etc., etc. Yeah.
Exactly. So with our kit, you can get to lowercase finished with everything you need in the kit. And then if you want to turn it into capital F finished, then you can frame it. And we have a link to our frames on the website. Or if you want to just buy your own frame, because it's just a 4x4 inch square. So any kind of square frame will do.
Yeah.
But today we're going to show you how to do some other things other than framing.
Not show you how to, but show you some potential possibilities.
Yeah.
I will say I am by no means a professional finisher, but I am a professional DIYer. So, and there's loads of resources online that you can follow. Mm-hmm. So shall we start with the framed option? So like we've said, I believe that the framed finished product is probably the easiest way to capital F finish your project. We've got, these examples hanging here, but then also this one that could either be, a stand-up on a desk or hanged on the wall, hung on a wall, not hanged.
Yeah, hung on a wall.
And yeah, it's really easy. In fact, let me take off the back so you can kind of see how I've assembled it, if I can pop it out. So with these frames in particular, you've got a 4x4 mat board, or rather the cutout is 4x4. And then I've just trimmed the canvas to size, right? So I cut off the binding so it's not too bulky and sticking out. And then I've just aligned it to the square. I did block mainly Pete's canvases that he stitched. And you can see that it's still a little bit wonky, but I think for the most part it's okay. To block it, because I do other crafts, I do have foam blocking squares that just kind of have a grid pattern, and then you take pins and you stick it down. But if you don't have that, you can use cardboard and just kind of pin it into place, or maybe a towel. The main thing is that you want it to go straight, so you would steam your canvas using either an iron or a steamer, and then you can stretch it so that it's more straight. But yeah, just do the best you can. And then I've taped it to the mat board using acid-free artist tape, and that's pretty much it. Then you just stick it in the frame. If you have the glass piece or the plastic piece, you can put that in. But for pictures, it's actually better to leave it out. And then you just, assemble your frame. Pretty straightforward.
Very straightforward. It lets you turn your stitched piece into a capital F finished piece in minutes.
Yeah, into a piece of art.
Yep, and this one looks great. I think if you have lots of books, particularly romantic-y books, then it would make a lot of sense to have this romantic-y stuff near there on the same shelf maybe, or next to it.
But it also just looks cool.
Also our kitchen and coffee collection, we've got that in our kitchen, and we think it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Or the fem and stem in an office would be nice as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into the bit that I think everybody's curious about.
Yeah.
Which is the ornaments.
Yes. Or to translate for our UK audience, our hanging decorations, or baubles.
Our baubles.
Our bubbles. Shall we start with
this one?
This one, just because this is the actual first one that I made.
Yeah.
So this is an unreleased sushi design that I designed, painted, and then Stitched. Actually, I think I printed this one, but anyways. So yeah, I've got the stitched needlepoint canvas on this side, and then on the back is just like some fabric. And so to assemble an ornament, you essentially make what are called cookies, which is a sandwich of the fabric, whether that's the canvas or the backing fabric, some batting that you would use for quilting, for example, and then mat board, same as that you use for framing, acid-free mat board that provides a bit of structure. There are multiple different ways of finishing an ornament. Some are more technical, as in using no glue, no tape, just lacing it up with thread and sewing it, which is actually how I finished all my ornaments. However, I think done is better than unfinished. So if you want to take it to the hot glue, use tape, whatever, get it done.
Yeah.
Get it finished. By all means. There's you don't see the inside. The only benefit, I would say, to not using glue and tape is that, if you do make a mistake and you want to undo your work, it's much easier to unpick thread than to try to rip glue out. But, I think people are a bit high and mighty about not using glue, but anyways. And then I also made the cording. So this is just DMC. I use stranded cotton, and then I've used a drill to kind of twist the two colors together, but then you could also do more colors than two as well.
Get the drill.
Yeah, you can get the drill. Yeah. So literally in the US there's actual cording tools that are available on the market, but they're quite expensive, and I think that they're a bit fiddly and can break. And it's very hard to find them in the UK, and then if you do find them, they're even worse quality. And so I had seen a trick where you can use a drill to do it instead. Some people do use their KitchenAid actually.
Oh yeah.
But I prefer using a drill because you can reverse the direction, so you get a tighter cording. And I've just stuck. This is literally, I took this hook from the garden, so it's a bit rusted, but it's fine. These are my personal projects. I'm not selling these to anyone. And then you just, I think I filmed my process a bit, but yeah, you can stick the thread on top and then twist it up and then twist the colors together. And yeah, this is probably the only time you really trust me with a power tool. And it's great because because it's a power tool, it's really powerful, obviously. And so you get a really tight twist that I think when you try to do it with the other cording specific tools, that's when they tend to break if you try to over tighten.
Right.
And then they kind of just burn out eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one is a sushi design. This is a design that we were considering for our launch, but ended up not launching with it. Mm-hmm. Let us know if you do want to get your hands on this, and we can certainly try and make that happen.
Yeah. I love sushi.
Yeah. So this one's fun. This is a classic circle shape, but you've got some irregular ones behind us. So do you want to talk through those?
Yes. You want to hang this one up? Yeah. Which one should I go to next? The next one I designed, or the next?
Let's do that one.
Let's do this one. Okay. So here we've got our hourglass coffee maker ornament, which I'm very proud of this, and I think the backing fabric is actually really cute as well. Brown leaf motif that I thought fit really well. And yeah, you can see the cording. I did 3 different colors. And I think this must have been my 4th or 5th ornament that I finished. So the other 3 or 4 were the rounds, which are definitely much easier to finish. So this is my first foray into doing an irregular shape. So you have to kind of cut the board, the mat board, and fit your fabric around curves that are concave and etc. But I think I did really well. if you look at it up close, you can see some bits that aren't great, but from afar, it looks great. And I'm proud of it as my first regular shape. So you can see that, you know, this is how you can finish it as a framed, finished piece. But then if you just don't stitch all the background, instead I just did 2 stitches around the entire coffee maker, you can turn it into like a cute ornament that you can put on your Christmas tree. Yeah, but this is definitely a more advanced technique, obviously. It takes a lot of time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but like, if you do like crafting, it is fun. And it's completely hand-stitched, so it is a labor of love. But you do get into like a rhythm of it, especially when you're sewing on the cording. I'll shout out the Finishing Fairy. So I subscribe to her Substack. I believe she's got, so her Substack has like a yearly subscription, but I think she's just released a course as well, or if you don't want like ongoing tutorials and live streams and stuff, it will just give you like how to make ornaments and stuff. But yeah, her content is very good. She teaches you how to finish an ornament without using glue, without using tape, how to lace your cookies, and then how to make the cording. She's got a whole cording camp of like how the different methods to make the cording, and then like a calculator to know how much thread you need in order to make the correct length. And yeah, she's constantly doing like fun different types of finishing, like stand-ups or like door hangings and things like that. So if you're interested in the DIY aspect, that's a great resource because it's all online, and then you get some of that, like, you know, America's so rich with these needlepoint knowledge, and so you can still access that from the UK, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me this would be like way too intimidating to take on, but I know that some of you guys are like keen crafters, just like Casey, and you are, you know, you just have this kind of can-do attitude for stuff like this. And
yeah,
I think it's great. I mean, the result is so cute, right?
I love it. I'm really proud. I'm gonna put it back on the wall so I don't see some of the canvas poking through. But yeah, I'm very proud of it, and I think it will look really. I'm excited for Christmas. I want to make more of these.
Yeah.
I want to do more with our collection. Like, I want to do definitely the Dutch oven. I think I want to do the wings as a regular ornament, and maybe even the love bite lips.
Yeah. So I think that, yeah, that's another thing to like mention, is that obviously we supply these with a background, and you know, if you want to stitch them, that is what they're there for. But if you're planning on turning it into an ornament like this, then you don't have to stitch the whole background.
Yeah.
There's that flexibility there. And also, like, you know, if in a similar vein, if you have a frame that is like slightly too big or slightly smaller than these ones, you can actually just stitch another row around the outside.
Yeah, I think I actually might have done that for the hourglass coffee maker. Just added an extra row around just so it fit the frame a bit better without canvas poking through. Yeah. And then I think this is actually my pride and joy. So this is my favorite chili oil, or chili crisp. It's called La Gama. And we add it to literally everything, like fried rice, noodles, chicken, like it just makes everything tasty. So I designed this very early on. This was one of my first designs. Not to sell, really, unless people are interested, but like this is for me, and
yeah,
like I wouldn't consider this like super beginner friendly, because there's a lot of little, you know, one stitch things, and like the center is quite small, but I don't know, I think it came out like really well. Maybe you can edit in like what the actual little jar looks like, so
yeah, sure.
I think I kind of nailed it. And then yeah, so I did another 3 color cording, and yeah, I think it was a little bit easier to finish because it's got straight edges, so and it was also my second one. And then for the back, I used this really nice fabric that I actually had on hand from a cheap out that I made a couple years ago for a wedding. And so I just had some scrap fabric and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'll just use that then. And then, yeah, I'm very excited about this one.
I think it looks great. I mean, obviously this is like a super niche thing that we're into, and it's why it's maybe a bit too niche for us to like. That's why we didn't launch with it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one day we'll sell like canvases if there's demand. Maybe not a full kit, but you know, or maybe I'll release the chart or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I think it looks really cute.
But I think that's what needlepoint is for. Like, it should express your personality. It should express your interests and the things you love, and
yeah,
this is me. I love sushi. I love my chili crisp, and I love my coffee.
Exactly.
And my books, my romantasy books, and then STEM. That's
your personality.
That's my designs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why we love needlepoint and why we wanted to bring modern needlepoint to the UK. There is some needlepoint in the UK already, but that's typically called tapestry. And typically the designs that you see from people who are selling tapestry do lean more traditional. So nature-inspired designs like florals and leaves, etc. They're beautiful patterns for sure, but part of the joy of modern needlepoint, and certainly the scene that we see in America, is that there are all these modern designs that speak to people's passions, that speak to people's hobbies, sometimes really niche stuff as well.
Yeah.
And having that option to stitch your own handmade art about your own personal niche interest, I think is part of the joy of needlepoint.
Yeah. And then, I mean, when I think of it, especially when it comes to turning things into ornaments and like what I want to hang on a tree, I do, because I love Christmas, right? I love ornaments that are super niche. Like we've got a coal ornament on our tree, and I think it was like sold as, you get a lump of coal if you've been naughty, but we've got coal because you're Welsh.
Because I'm Welsh, and coal is in my I don't know, yeah, like coal is such a huge part of Welsh history and pride, that I love having the coal there to represent Wales.
Yeah. So I think having the super specific things that represent things that are meaningful to you, I think is really nice to have.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to try needlepoint for yourself to either finish as framed art or as an ornament, then go check out our website, koiponstudio.com. Right now we're offering free shipping to all of the UK, so take advantage of that while it's there.
Yeah. And then I will say, so I've stitched our Fem STEM craft canvas again, and my goal is to turn that into a pillow to live on this couch. So stay tuned for that, and I'll let you know how that goes. But I think, I'm hoping, in my mind, it's easier than doing the ornaments because I can use my sewing machine. So there should be less hand sewing, which means it should go faster. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I actually do it and it's just as hard, but I'll let you know.
We'll see. Stay tuned. Subscribe to see that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.